Okay, so we've got beat change, and in this beat, which goes from here to here, I define the action as getting down to business. That's my action phrase. Engage or embark, and you can see these are, similar things. A little verb, discount. My elevator phrase is let's do this. Another beat change. Concede, a little tool. Restrict is my single verb. Prevent him from going too far, meaning prevent him from going too far in insulting me or condescending to me. Be nice, little elevator phrase there. Another dash. Another beat. Support. I'm solving my son's problem. That's a really good one. Solve my son's problem. That's something an actor can do on stage, something you as an actor can put your heart and soul behind. And let me help obviously works very well as an elevator phrase if my action is to solve my son's problem. Tease a little bit there, because just for a second there I'm teasing him on this one little word because he was being a little arrogant boy up ahead before that. So clarify, just a moment, just a little second where I'm doing something a little bit different, but it's not a whole beat change. Now here is beat change that I really debated on. What are we? Use that for your. I've got something. So could be that one actor would decide it from here to here is one beat. I found it useful to stick another beat in there because I'm kind of doing the same thing a little bit, solving my son's problems or then proving I can solve my son's problem. So one actor might decide, okay, from here to the other beat change down there that's all trying to prove that I can solve my son's problems. But I thought it might be interesting to give me somewhere else to go. Could be in rehearsal, we'd realize it's all kind of the same thing. Could be, maybe we realize, oh, that's a stronger beat change than I thought. Because at the end of the day, you're not when you're in front of an audience, you're not thinking about your verbs anymore. These are rehearsal techniques that you use to, I start with memorizing my lines. As I'm memorizing the lines, I'm also memorizing what I'm doing in that moment and what my major thought is. But so that when I am up on my feet and working, I don't have to worry about this stuff anymore. And in the performance and as you do run-throughs and as you advance in rehearsals, these might change without you even knowing it. Your director might give you some feedback and you change something and it really kind of changes all this a whole lot. That's okay. This is just a good place to start from and it gives you a lot of tools to put in your toolbox. So I had this other beat change here. Assert is my verb. Prove that I can solve my son's problems. That's different than solving my son's problems because, he's a little doubtful, and then I go into, hey, let me prove this. Works for the character. They've been estranged from each other for a while. Dad wasn't around a lot when they grew up, so he has something to prove. I can help you. Nice little verb. Correct. Another little kind of one word almost there. Search. So this is just a moment, sort of removed from this beat. But here and here, I'm still doing the same action. He goes into his little story. Beat change. Doubt it. Small beat here. Doubt. Seek confirmation. Doubt single verb. Seek confirmation is an action phrase. Not a real strong one because it's not real different than doubt. Are you sure? Elevator phrase. Clarifies things a little bit. So. Little tool accept. Beat change for another short little beat. Correcting him. Actually, this one kind of works together. The one verb is correct, but the elevator phrase is correct a misunderstanding. You don't know the real story is what's going on in here. As you read through this play, you'll see this is a pretty loaded emotionally beat, but Mark cuts it off, so it's clearly a beat change. This is, he drops a bomb, Mark drops a bomb here. Dad has to respond. It brings about a beat change. Then Mark just says, nope, not going to talk about it. And they go on to something else. Salvage a single verb, prevent a bad outcome is the phrase there. You could say prevent is your single verb, and you're preventing a bad outcome. Don't give up is what I'm trying to say to my son here. Beat change. To discipline, make my son connect. Now this discipline, it sounds kind of harsh, but there's the verb that you're doing, and then there's the way you do it. In every moment, every character has an action, but the way that they do it that's a character choice. So that's going to be different for every actor. You can discipline somebody in a very loving way or in a very harsh way. So here, I'm not spanking him. I'm encouraging him. Maybe encourage would be another word here, but I decided to go with discipline. To make my son commit. That says commit. And my elevator phrase would be make a choice. Beat change. There were no tools in that beat. Beat change. Guide him to the solution. So another one, guide, single verb, or what I'm doing is guiding him to a solution. You can do it. So maybe encourage would be another verb somebody else would pick. Along the way, I'm doing a little patronizing. This actually could be a beat change here, because this one line really kind of is not guiding him. I'm sort of changing gears here, but to define one line as a whole beat, it's just too much work. So, but a little verb solves the problem, keep on going. At the end of the day, one way you could do this would be for every line or even every sentence within a line, you have a verb. There's a school of acting that teaches that. It says you have one single little verb for every single line you're saying. Talk about taking all the joy out of acting. That I would never do that myself, and I would never ask a student to do it. But at the end of the day, if you're having problems with a moment coming up with these, highfalutin phrases, just give it a verb, And at the end of the day, I'll go off on another tangent here. One can argue that there are basically three verbs. They're the three Ds: discover, disclose, or decide. In every moment, you are either making a discovery, disclosing information, which is the weakest one, or making a decision, which is the strongest one. I would argue that disclosing is never really your action, because if you're telling somebody something, there's a reason you're doing that, and that's why you talk. Disclosing is just bad playwriting. That's exposition with no motivation. But that's one easy way to look at actions. Discover, disclose, or decide. An acting teacher once gave me that. I thought it was cool, and I remembered it. So you can do it. Another little bit here: process, tool, beat change. To process the new situation. Now, this is a moment which could be interpreted many different ways that I wanted to, get my director's feedback. So that what you're seeing here is what I showed up to the second rehearsal with. I did my homework, and this is what we came up with, what I came up with. Now, process the new situation, or to mask how I'm really feeling. It's always hard to come up with actions when somebody's dropped a bomb on you, or you're just reacting, or if you're surprised. If you feel like your action is surprised, number one, that's not an action. It's not a verb. Then those are the hardest ones to come up with. Maybe something like process is always something I end up going to. Hopefully you can come up with better ones. But in rehearsal, we actually came up with something more like encourage him to talk about the relationship. So elicit a conversation or something like that. Don't you want to see me? That's actually an elevator phrase that could have worked with my interpretation and the angle it sort of went in rehearsal. Another possible elevator phrase is I failed. Very different, but they both could work. Beat change. To save the situation. Establish our new relationship as a good one. That's a bit loquacious as a action phrase, but it's all kind of needed there. Do you want this? It's my elevator phrase here. Another beat change in hearten. Trying to is my single verb. Convince my son it's going to be okay. It's going to work out. You see how those are going to be? Those work out pretty well together. Another little tool, clarify and calm. Beat change. This one this one was really hard to come up with because your action should always be in terms of what you're doing to your scene partner, the person you're talking to. In this moment, Dad gets pissed off at himself. Reprimand, he's reprimanding himself. I put delay here because, okay, if I have to stick by the rules and I'm trying to say, what am I doing to my son? I'm delaying him, or I'm getting him to pause there because he said, where's the snacks? And I say, oh, damn it, I left him in the car. So I'm really kind of beating myself up. My elevator phrase is, this sucks. Simple little moment there. It's a quick beat. It's kind of a little funny moment. So it's one of those moments that it's hard to really stick to the rules and say, this is what I'm doing to my scene partner. And then the last beat, Dad's off stage. He's off stage. Here, I didn't fully flesh out this beat because I'm off stage most of the time. These words are said off stage. I run on stage and I see the birds. So I just gave little verbs. Secure, I'm trying to make sure that he's okay. Mark, are you okay? And then when I see the birds, here's another one. One of those moments where you've been taken by surprise. The line is, holy shit, what am I doing? What am I doing to mark on that? Who knows? It's a tough one. And these are the kind of moments where this sort of intellectual homework, it's good to do ahead of time, but probably if you're really in the moment and committed to the given circumstances, what needs to come out is going to come out regardless of what homework you did. So it's one of those other process moments. That's important to say. So to round off this little discussion, this is your homework. You are going to cover a lot more ground. You are going to be able to work a lot more efficiently and more effectively when you do your homework, obviously. But it is just homework. It is a launching point. It is a place that you begin your work with your fellow actors and your director if you're if you're working with a director. So, hope this was helpful. See you later.